Let's do Raw, but let's do it quickly. We start with John Cena that has a promo where he responds to Brock Lesnar, basically saying yes and just accepting the challenge. He was really into the crowd. The crowd was really into him, of course, as you would expect. Everything was perfect regarding this, and I can't wait to see their match at WrestlePalooza. That's still a weird name I have to get used to be honest. But you know what? Moving on, we have Lyra Valkyria against Roxanne Perez. Raquel Rodriguez is also there, but she gets ejected at some point. Lyra wins. Raquel comes to beat her up. Then Bipolar Bailey comes out, does a whole hugging gimmick stuff, and we move on. Really. Oh yeah, I was supposed to rate these matches and stars. 2.5 a quarter star. Sure, that sounds normal. That sounds good. Like having 5 and 6 stars instead of 5. Yeah, you know what? Moving on. Penta against Kofi Kingston is okay. I'm gonna have to say it's an okay. It's a 3-star match in my opinion. We get interference from Grayson Waller, whatever, but Penta wins at the end, and everything is looking good. They'll probably reunite the Lucha Brothers. He'll probably reunite his brother with Rey Fenix at some point, but without Andrade, they were building things up. It's not going to look that well. Next, we have the cringe segment between the Phil Burnell family and the very annoying family. It's cringe as most of the storyline has been. Really, the whole thing after the debut on Netflix when they had their cage match and whatever really feels bad. Like, okay, they worked it, but now it's getting kind of stupid. I was like bringing in Drew McIntyre again to feud with CM Punk. What's done, it's done, and it should remain like that. Yeah, I guess it was cool when Seth Rollins did the whole shtick with his injury and stuff. But then again, people picked on the guy that thought Kevin Owens' injury was also fake. So, Triple H, the nose man, isn't helping himself. The segment is cringe as you would expect from these people, and let's just move on to the best match of the night, and it's El Grande Americano against Dragon Lee. Now, you might know from Worlds Collide that they do have some history of interference and some sort of feud. And at some point during this whole match that really started very fast, very strong, very powerful, there comes Dos Americanos, or whatever, the second El Grande Americano. AJ Styles comes to have Dragon Lee's back, and he hits and gets rid of the second El Grande. But then there's a third one, because of course it is, and this one might just be Tyler Bate. So, Tyler Bate, Pete Dunne, Ludwig Kaiser. That's a faction in of itself that could work amazingly well by itself without the whole El Grande gimmick. But somehow it works with the El Grande gimmick as well, because it's an amazing gimmick, and Ludwig Kaiser just does magic with this stuff. El Grande wins at the end, of course, and then they do the Spider-Man meme pose where they point at each other, which is quite hilarious, and I can't wait to see Chad Gable back as the original El Grande Americano. At this point, there's like 5 of them. We're getting to a point where we might, beat the number of Black Tiger masks. So that's quite interesting. You know what? If we can reach like 8 El Grande Americanos, I think that would be good. I don't know. Put somebody else that doesn't have anything to do at this point under the mask. That would work. Make Apollo Crews. You know what? That would be hilarious. Make Apollo Crews another El Grande Americano. Have him be like the 5th one and just have, have a War Games match between El Grande Americanos, all 5 of them, against Latin World Order. You know, those 2 guys nobody cares about. Rey Mysterio, Dragon Lee, and add AJ Styles, because it's always good to have AJ Styles in matches. Now back to the topic before I went on this stupid ramble about El Grande Americano. Best match of the night, 4 stars out of 5. Impeccable. We have next, there's a weird segment between Stephanie Valkyrie and Valkyrie, whatever. And we have her talking with Io Sky. Asuka gets in. She basically volunteers Kairi Sane to fight Stephanie. They have a match, which, you know what, it's a pretty decent match. 3 stars out of 5. It is very interesting because at some point Kairi Sane wants to shake hands with Stephanie, and Asuka yells at her, Kairi, which, to be honest, is like the best thing they have right now. Well, second best thing in the women's division. Maybe third. Yeah, I think third works in this case. Anyway, Stephanie Valkyrie wins. No problem there. We get some more tension between Io Sky and Asuka. And at some point, Kairi Sane is just that child that has to see her parents fighting in the middle of the ring and she can't stand it anymore. I like this whole divorce segment idea they have with Damage Control. It works pretty well. I can't help but feel that it is a little bit of a copy of that time when Mariah May, Toni Storm, and Mina like broke up and stuff, but less violent right now. With a proper build-up, I would say. With a proper build-up. But yeah, it kind of feels like that story, but instead of 2 blondes and a Japanese woman, they're all Japanese women. Or whatever. Again, match 3 out of 5 stars. We move to Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker against LA Knight and Jimmy Uso. There are some segments during the night about Jimmy and Jey Uso and how Jey is starting to act like Roman Reigns and he has no Ula Fala, the garland, the red garland they have for these people. So yeah, that's something. They're really building up a Jey Uso heel turn, which I think is really good. I think that might work better for Jey Uso than him being a face. The whole Yeet thing is nothing but an entrance stuff. When we get to the real deal of being a solo, what do you call it? Act, a solo wrestler, he fails terribly at that. But doesn't matter. Things are looking up. Of course, the Reeds, the Bronsons, whatever you call them, end up winning, of course. And Jey somehow is a problem, continues to create problems for LA Knight, which is quite awful. The people are behind Jimmy Uso. They were behind him, at least when Reed was pummeling him. So, you know, that's pretty good. And at the end, after the clear or whatever, LA Knight hits Jey Uso back because screw you. And you know what, that makes sense. They're building up tensions between Knight and Jey Uso, which is quite interesting in my opinion because LA Knight is old. He needs the push. About the match, again, 3 out of 5 stars. It's another mediocre Raw if you want. And it's not really the hype and build up I would expect for an event, for a pay-per-view, for WrestlePalooza. I'm going to be honest, I just don't see this one. I just think it's not that good. I don't think we're going in the right direction with what's happening on Raw and SmackDown. That being said, that's all for now.